Hey everybody, today I'm going to be talking through this time lapse of the campsite mock that I made. So let's jump right into it. You can see that I've started off by laying the framework for the general shape that I wanted this stream to be. And the way that I built this, I got the idea from Brick Sculpt. His YouTube channel is awesome. Go check it out if you haven't seen any of his videos before. So basically all I'm doing is placing a bunch of 1x1 plates underneath where the trans clear blue tiles are going to go. The thing that I really love about this technique, as opposed to just putting blue tiles on top of blue plate or a blue base plate, is that it provides a lot more depth. And by depth, I mean just texture, I guess. So this is supposed to be a more shallow stream, but you can see, especially when the tiles go over top, how this looks like water with rocks and sticks and twigs and weeds and all kinds of stuff underneath. Now I did have to go back and readjust the plate so that they were actually laying on top of the tiles once I got those placed. Then I could start building in the surrounding area with the plates that I needed. I chose to use a mixture of green, dark tan, and this medium nougat color. I feel like they're all kind of earth tones, but I didn't want the area that was going to be dirt to just all be the dark tan color. So I tried to make it so that the green was on the backside where the trees are going to be. And yes, I did use some black plate, but I just was planning on layering over top of it with the green plate just to add a little bit more texture and depth. I did come back in and add a bunch of little tiles and some of these round jumpers just so this kind of created a little rocky looking area, or kind of a little trail, just something that was going back and forth between the campsite and the stream. And I apologize, time-lapse does jump around a little bit. I didn't get the full video placing the minifigs and everything. But this is just wrapping up some of the final details. Of course, the last few bushes, the camera decided to not focus. And here it is. The campsite is finally done. So I saw this LEGO camper van and immediately loved it and wanted to design a campsite mock, and this is what I came up with. So here's kind of a quick overview of everything. I placed most of the trees in the back just because I didn't want those to block anything going on in the foreground, and tried to just put some like bigger shrub style bushes up in the front. So that's what these are, and then same thing over on this side. And then I actually, obviously in the time lapse, started with the creek because I felt like that was something that wasn't quite movable as I was going along and building. Everything else can be kind of placed wherever. Over here in front of the camper van, we've got this guy taking a very scenic picture of what's going on over here. Then you've got his friend who's just brewed himself a cup of coffee coming over to the campfire. This gal has broken out her guitar and some snacks ready to sing. Then mom is sitting over here on a log with the baby, while this gentleman is chopping up some extra firewood for the fire. Over here, this is meant to be kind of like a dirt walking path, so in my mind, like, these are some rocks that have kind of made their way up from the riverbed that kids have played with or whatever. But I also wanted to put this in here because I feel like it broke up that kind of dirt color or that tannish look of everything. I really enjoyed building this little camping chair and campfire setup. And then for the other chair, I decided to put this log here just because I didn't want a whole bunch of the same camping chairs set up around in a circle. And then kind of coming over to this side, I did put two rocks or boulders in the middle of the river just to kind of break up that. I don't know if you can catch it or see it on the camera, but I also tried to put some raised tiles back over here and here just to help add a little bit more texture to that. And then if I spin this around, this is kind of where it starts to get less and less interesting. But we do still have some detail on the back. I tried to keep this pretty minimal just because I didn't want to waste a ton of parts on the thing that you're not going to be looking at, but I did want to have some stuff kind of poking through down here at the bottom that you could see between the trees. And then as far as pine tree design goes, these are made with the fern elements, and then these are with the more traditional 3-stem piece. I've seen trees made this way before. This is very, very part intensive. I'm not even sure how many I used on each one. I wouldn't be surprised if there's almost 100 fern elements just in this one tree. But these definitely, I feel like, look the most realistic, but I didn't want to have all of the same color of tree, so I decided to add in some of these ones and then tried to make this one a little bit more sparse looking, and then this one just a little bit more full looking. And just to kind of put some more perspective on this, of the size of this tree, let me see if I can put this minifig down here so you can see just how big this tree actually is. So super tall, again, very part intensive, but I feel like when it comes to vegetation stuff and trees, that is what makes things look the most realistic, is when you go super heavy on the parts. So that's it. That's the campsite. Let me know what you guys think. If you have any questions on building techniques or anything along those lines. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.